Okay, let's have a look at the trailer and I'll break it down for people. Is that okay for audio? Yeah, I'm appearing just slightly above the audio. So we have a big gun in the background. This is taking place in the Chalnath sector. So we saw that in previous Kill Team games when the Tau Pathfinders fought the Battle Sisters Novitiates in 9th edition. So the way that worked was, oh yes, this is just a training area for Battle Sisters. They are defending the faith while the main group of Battle Sisters is going off and murdering people. I mean, it's a crusade of faith. So it's protected by the Imperial Guard. The Death Watch, as we know from stories that have been on the Warhammer community and stories in the White Dwarf, the Death Watch have a watch fortress in the area that's active and, you know, protecting people and killing aliens. Genestealer Cult. The Genestealer Cult are active on, like, at least one of the planets. So we have a Genestealer Cult uprising. We have the Tau invading, and it's probably going to be led by, like, Shadow Sun, because it has to be led by Shadow Sun or Farsight. There's no one else. They can't just give it to some generic dude, because then we know that they would lose. So by some tactical genius and maneuvering, the Tau managed to get onto this planet and beat a bunch of Imperial Guard. Then, seeing this weakness, the Genestealer Cult rose up and are like, let's go. Also, the area is affected by orcs. Also, there's Death Watch available in the area that are intervening, but they will be agents of the Imperium. Could be led by Darkstrider? Maybe, that's an option. They don't have Longstrike anymore. They could have killed off Longstrike. Oh, I should definitely put Longstrike in there and then kill him off. That'd be fun. He's Legends, but, you know, that works. It's not an actual Tau Civil War. They're just not friends. They've been teasing a Tau Civil War since, I don't know, 5th edition? And it hasn't happened yet. So, this planet is kind of a mess. We've got Genestealer Cult, we've got Orcs, we've got Death Watch, we've got Tau invading, we've got Imperial Guard fighting back. Then the Battle Sisters land and they're like, well, where do we start? What do we deal with first? The Orcs seem to be dealt with by the Death Watch mostly. The Death Watch have stopped the Tau spreading too much further. This is all taking part in the Imperium Nihilus, like beyond the Great Rift. And it's the tiny bit of space that the Tau accidentally themselves threw warp storms into. They did their 3rd phase of expansion near their Tau Empire. The 4th sphere expansion isn't really a sphere. It's just we're now on the other side of this rift and have like 3 planets. And now they're doing the 5th sphere of expansion to try and get it beyond there. So there's like 2 more planets. In Imperium terms, this is a nothing. Right, so this planet has a massive gun. The massive gun fires to shoot at things in orbit. When we're dealing with the Tau, it's the Tempestus Scions that have been sent in to, like, deal with problems. Because the main Imperial Guard forces are scattered through the sector, dealing with, like, everything else. Chaos incursions, demon incursions. Well, we don't call them that. We call them weird warp aliens, which could also cover, like, the Dark Eldar. And so they're fighting the Tau. This is not a robot. This is a servitor of kinds. It is a servo skull, so that's someone who usually, willingly, gave themselves over to, like, I'm dying, I'm dead, you can use my brain and my skull in, like, other useful things. Yeah, imagine getting outgunned by a servitor. The Tau are not doing great. The shift kind of happened for the Tau when 8th edition came around. Because in all the previous editions they existed, having a 4+ save was incredibly important. The majority of weapons were AP 5. So bolt guns, the Tau weapons themselves, Eldar Guardian Shuriken weapons, that meant that if you had an armor save of a 5+ or a 6+, you didn't get the save at all. But anything better than that, you just rolled your normal save. So you fire a Shuriken Catapult at a Guardsman, no save. You fire it at a Tau, 4+ save. You fire a Heavy Bolter, that's AP 4, that disappears against the Tau. But there's no, like, AP modifiers at the time. Firing a Heavy Bolter at a Space Marine, in that edition, they would still get their 3+ save. Yeah, 5+ T-shirt save. Well, the T-shirt save was for the Orcs, which was a 6+ at the time. It's only recently changed to be a 5+, which feels weird. I would have thought they did enough when they got Toughness 5, but never mind. Yes, willingly. Servitors are less willing. Servo Skulls are more willing. Yeah, so this person, they've got... Is that missiles? Okay, that's not firing like I would expect a volley gun to fire, which I would think is more like continued lasfreams. And we also have missiles for some reason, and then the Tau get just blown apart. Yeah, there's 2 Tau getting killed. There's a Tau behind the wall. Tau behind the wall gets shot. And I saw that and I was like, you did this exact scene. Do you have the same director or just a fan as the person who did the Octarius Kill Team mod? Because if you go back and watch that trailer, that's where we have a guardsman slump over and die. It's the same thing. So these are Pathfinders by the look of it, because they've reduced armor, and notice how they don't have the massive shoulder plate, unlike the Tau Breachers and the Tau Strike Teams. Weird complaint. Oh yeah, Tau Pathfinders have a 4+ save now. It's wrong, it's bad and wrong, it's bad and wrong and shouldn't be happening. Ah, well. Okay, so we have our last Tau person. There's the Servitor crawling along. Servo Skull, crawly Servo Skull. You can't see the Tau's face. Somehow blood has come out of it, which is interesting when it's a laser shot, which should just burn. Never mind, never mind. Somehow you have splash physics as well. Maybe the Tau are just hollow inside. Maybe that's meant to be like a bone fragment. You can see like teeth. I don't know if the Tau have teeth. I assume they have like bovine teeth, because they're kind of cow-coded. It may be like that. I like that you can see the people coming down in the pools of water. That's nice. I like that. So we've got 4 of them in this kill team. One of them decided, oh yeah, I'm not going to plug in my gun until now. But that's an option. The Sergeant, or Tempestor, I think is the name. It's the Sergeant of the squad. They have a beret. The very first Tempestus Scions models that came out in, it was at least 2nd edition. They had berets because they were meant to be like the British SAS, who have the berets as like their, not necessarily in battle dress, but definitely their parade uniforms. Servo Skull is the leader for sure. Yeah, yeah. Tempestor is the sergeant. Tempestor Prime is their lieutenant. Weren't the Scions the replacement for the Stormtroopers? Kind of. They became the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers and they had gas mask faces. Then there was like the Kazakin, which are, if you're playing an Imperial Guard Cadian army. These then changed into the Tempestus Scions, and they were sort of their own army, but not really their own army because they were part of the Imperial Guard, and they've been in and out being a supplement the way that like the Imperial Fists have had a supplement for extra characters and extra rules. Tempestus Scions have been the same. So these 4 are definitely Tempestus Scions. They have the same armor. We've got the berets, we've got the helmets that they use, and we have a guy with 2 pistols because he wants to be a desperado and cool. The models, the current Tempestus Scion models, come with a bunch of heads. You can either have them all with these helmets, which I think have like a pickle halberd spike on the top. Yeah, how does the beret stay on? You just push it on really far. It clamps down onto them. Yeah, the current models, you can have berets or the helmets. I'm hoping that the current squads, like the models, stick around because they're really nice. Just specifying that, I mean, they can already deep strike. Their rule is that they can deep strike. Just being like, oh, it's obvious that they can deep strike because they have the jump packs. That shouldn't be necessary. In 40k games, these should have a movement value of 12. That would be standard. They could, in the Imperial Guard Codex, which they should be in, they could and should have a detachment of their own. Even a limited meme-y kind of version like the Chaos Cult, where it's very restricted on the units you can have. Otherwise, I would have been very happy to see them in the Agents of the Imperium. We may yet get a data card for them for that. Because what they did with the Hearthkin Jaegers, which were the ones fighting the Brood Brothers, they got their own data card, which was extra, and then you can use them in your Index Votan. Yes, that. So we'll have to see when the Tau Codex, no, when the Imperial Guard Codex comes out. I had thought that maybe the Imperial Guard Codex would be one of the later ones, but it shouldn't be, because the Votan in White Dwarf 503 have just got Crusade rules, which suggests that it's going to be a while before the Votan come out. The Dark Eldar got their bonus attachment, which I think they wouldn't have done if they weren't going to be one of the last codexes coming out. Oh, they have one, a helmet and a beret. Nice, nice. Berets don't have to be the command squad. Anyone could have them. But yeah. A bonus unit of these as like, oh, they're not the regular Scions, they're extra Scions, because they don't just do grav shoot insertion, drop the grav shoot and keep going. They keep their jump packs. The jump packs are more valuable than the dudes piloting him. Yeah, I mean, it is some weird technology. The Imperial Guard used to have stuff like jetpacks and jump bikes and... No, jet bikes. They had jet bikes in first edition, but they were Imperial Army, so you can sort of think the way 40k lore has gone, stuff from first edition is now coded to be Horus Heresy. Yeah, Necromunda gang leaders doing better than Imperial Guards. So we're just executing some prisoners. There's no, like, Geneva Convention between the Tau and the Imperium. There never is with filthy aliens. There isn't even between traitors. It's just, if you're a traitor, expect to be executed. That's about it. So big cannon fires, get the blast wave, and they go underground, which is not where I expected them to be when it's we can fly. I expected it to be in space. But she's telling them to go down. They drop down. It's all very cool. We get the music dropping. But you can hear it. I know you can hear it. So there's the 4 of them. Weirdly, the person with the pistols goes at the back, which is not what you think. Surely they should be up front. And then we see our first Vespid. And then we kill our first Vespid. Because there's about 7 of them in there. Okay, there's 1 dead. There's another 1 dead. So that's 3 dead already. And we know a few more are going to die. That one with the helmet, that's a communication helm. The way that the Tau work is they met the Vespid and they were like, oh, we can't seem to communicate with these creatures. We might just have to kill them all, otherwise a peaceful solution can't be found. The high command of the Vespid met with the Ethereals. The Ethereals were like, hey, so we have this cool tech. This will let us communicate. Put it on them, and suddenly they could talk, and suddenly they perfectly understood the greater good. And the leaders of the Vespid are definitely not being brainwashed and or mind-controlled by the Tau. So all of the Vespid units have a strain leader, which has this helmet, or helmet similar. That's how it was in the previous models, and now we're going to see them in plastic, which is nice. The guns are neutron blasters, which have always been anti-marine weapons. They're currently like AP-2, damage 2. They're very insect-like, they're very creepy. Their weapons are Tau weaponry, but using crystals from the Vespid homeworld. So they do shooting things. So we're shooting, we're doing badly because of ballistic skill 4+. He's also ballistic skill 3+, so he hits 1 of them. There's one with the rail rifle. So we're expecting to see more weapon options for the Vespids. Someone took a Tau ray rifle and was like, hey Vespid, have a gun. But the Vespid in the rules that the Tau have, because their codex is out already, there are Vespids, so they'll just get an updated datasheet. We are assuming with more weapons. Assuming. Now the Dark Eldar kill team, which has a bunch of extra things, they didn't get an updated set. It was just pretend it's regular splinter rifles. So not necessarily going to get an update. There's no detachment that works best for them. There's the auxiliary detachment, but that is Kroot. It's just Kroot. And people don't really play that a lot because you need to just get the big box of Kroot. Okay. He gets shot, but is fine. He gets back up like, there you see, shooting from the ground. That's okay. There's a big pile of stuff. That is what looks like the airburst fragmentation launcher. It's firing a ball of plasma, though. So it doesn't quite seem what I would have thought of as an fragmentation thing. I was thinking, you know, fragments fired into the air. This looks like a plasma ball. So it may just be a variation of the plasma rifle. Could be that. Oh yeah, they do have teeny tiny backpacks. Look at that. So it's not quite what I thought of as an air bursting fragmentation launcher. Then we get the guys screaming on the ground, get the gun point of view, which is nice cinematically, and he's got what out. So the Tempestus Scions lose, but there's only 4 of them, and then he misses. Just full on misses. That's a shame. So that's the trailer. That explains, I think, what the Tempestus Scions are, and what the Vespids are, and the planet that they're on, and what's happening with it there. I temporarily have adverts for the music. I'm sure my music was working better before.